super rich have never had it quite so good. The 1,000 wealthiest Britons in the latest annual Sunday Times Rich List are now worth a total of almost £413 billion, 53 billion more than last year. But the number of foreign-born billionaires, well, that's reached a new high. Indian steel tycoon Lakshmi Mittal, for instance, topping the list for the fourth year with just 27.7 billion. In second place, Chelsea's owner Roman Abramovich, who's seen his wealth rise to 11.7 billion. But it's many British billionaires who've fallen down the list, including Sir Philip Green, dropping from 7th to 9th at 4.3 billion, and the Virgin boss, Sir Richard Branson, who slumped 9 places to number 20 with a mere £2.7 billion. Well, joining us is Philip Beresford, who's compiled the Rich List, and lifestyle analyst Harry Fox from Quintessentially, a luxury lifestyle company. First to you, Philip, because it is 20 years since you've begun this list?
Yes, it seems like a life sentence.
Yeah, without time off for good behaviour.
Exactly.
And what does it tell us? Indeed, is it still relevant to us 20 years on?
Well, when I first started, it was regarded as a terribly vulgar exercise by the lords and dukes who were in it.
The toffs of Britain.
The toffs of Britain. Now it's filled with all the hedge fund managers, entrepreneurs and the like, and they are the new Britain. They are creating the wealth that spreads and percolates down the economy. So in that sense, it's a good snapshot of Britain
So
today.
are we a sort of nouveau riche country then, Britain, now?
Very much a nouveau riche country and very much aping America.
Right, what does that mean for us then, Harry? Because, I mean, as your company proves, there is now a whole industry, it seems, for the rich in Britain.
Well, indeed, I mean, quintessentially, we like to keep ourselves as universal. So, indeed, we're not segregated in class or whatever, that it's absolutely open to everyone. Who
Just how much money you got.
Well, exactly, yeah, of course. And so, I mean, with that, you know, we'll be able to give them the opportunity of investing into some of our sort of sister brands like Quintessentially Wine and Quintessentially Art, and giving them the opportunity where perhaps they can spend their time purposely with quality.
And is this what people do? They actually do spend? They don't just sit on it and save? I'm thinking of, for instance, you know, the super rich in America. And you know, they don't spend, they actually sort of keep their wealth hidden away.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think it's certainly giving them the opportunity of spending sophisticatedly in the way that we can give them sort of certain things, like we have a Quintessentially Escape, which really gives them the opportunity of spending their time, maybe only for a weekend, but with a James Bond experience, going up to Monaco by private jet.
Well, and crashing your car into a lake, yeah. Now, how accurate is this, Philip? I have to ask, because I mean, we have talked about Paul McCartney, for instance, so Paul McCartney being worth 850 million. Suddenly is the court case, and you know, all the lawyers and the accountants say, well, actually, no, he's only worth 400 million. How do we know these figures are actually accurate?
Paul McCartney, we were slightly over the top, but we think that
by double?
Yes, we think that the court didn't take account of some of his assets, such as Linda's will of 100-odd million, and we also think that they were a little conservative on valuing Sir Paul McCartney's wonderful back catalogue of music.
Which might come onto sort of iTunes now and so on, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is the other aspect, that, you know, the super rich are actually very good at hiding their money. They don't like talking about it. So have you really got to sort of do some investigative journalism to find out where all the money's hidden?
I have a very good spy network that rivals the KGB.
Tell us more.
I have lots of people who tip me off. I look at all the accounts. I have a chap who covers the secret rich particularly and knows the bankers who deal with them. I have people all over the place feeding in information.
Right. So, Harry, how rich do I have to be rich in modern Britain?
Well, it's, to be honest, I mean, certainly when it comes to Quintessential, I mean, we have different levels of membership which will be able to suit different lifestyle needs. So, I mean, if you're travelling a huge amount, we can offer you something which would organise you to have a global reach of different fixes. But I think, to be quite honest, it's really about how you spend your money.
But do you need $1 million, for instance, to be actually rich in today's world?
You can have less than that, really.
Really?
A lot of it's just down to how you want to spend it and the time allowed you can to spend.
And I mean, this is a bit worrying about Britain's million and billionaires, of course, we should talk about, slipping right down the list. Does that mean that we really are feeling the credit crunch, even at the top layers?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the retail problems emerging that'll hit people like Sir Philip Green,
Yeah.
Sir Richard Branson. He appeals to the mass market, and the mass market is belt-tightening.
Down to his last 2.7 billion. Times are hard. Philip and Harry, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for joining us here on Sunrise.